It was 11:47 p.m. when Sarah's phone died. She stared at the black screen in her hand. Sitting in the parking lot of a 24-hour diner, her son asleep in the back seat. The check engine light had been glowing for 3 days. Now the car wouldn't start at all. She had $17 in her account. Rent was due in 4 days. Sarah plugged her phone into the car charger, praying it would catch even a dying spark of battery. Nothing. She looked back at Tommy. 6 years old, his jacket bundled under his head as a pillow. He didn't know they'd been living in the car for 2 weeks. He thought it was an adventure. Camping, she called it. Her hands shook as she pulled out the portable charger from her purse. 1 bar left. Enough for maybe 5 minutes. She needed to text her sister, ask if they could stay just one night on her couch. Just one. The phone buzzed to life. Her fingers moved fast. But in her panic, in the dim light and exhaustion, she didn't check the number twice. She thought she clicked her sister's name. She didn't. The message sent. Please. I don't know what else to do. I need help. Just for tonight. I promise I'll figure it out tomorrow. 1 minute. 2. The battery dropped 2 critical. Then 3 dots appeared. Someone was typing. Her heart pounded. Relief rushed through her. Then the reply came. Who is this? Sarah's stomach dropped. Wrong number. She'd sent her most desperate moment to a complete stranger. Her fingers fumbled as she typed back. I'm so sorry. Wrong person. Please ignore. She was about to turn the phone off, save what little battery remained, when another message appeared. Wait, are you okay? Sarah sat frozen. The stranger was still there. Still asking. She looked at Tommy's sleeping face in the rearview mirror. What did she have to lose? She typed slowly. Not really. But I'll be fine. I'm sorry to bother you. The 3 dots again. This time, they stayed longer. Where are you right now? A chill ran down her spine. That was the kind of question you didn't answer to strangers. But something in the tone, even through text, felt different. Not threatening. Concerned. In a parking lot. It's safe. I have my son. The response came faster this time. Tell me what you need. Sarah's vision blurred. She hadn't cried in weeks. She couldn't afford to. But those 5 words, from someone she didn't know, broke something open inside her. She wiped her eyes and began to type the truth. My car broke down. I lost my job 2 weeks ago. I've been applying everywhere, but no one's called back. I just need to keep my son warm and fed until I can fix this. She hit send before she could overthink it. Before shame could stop her, the reply took longer this time. Maybe the stranger realized this was too much. Maybe they'd disappear like everyone else had. Then the phone buzzed. What's the address of where you are? Sarah hesitated. Every instinct screamed not to tell a stranger where she was, alone with her child in the dead of night. But desperation has a way of rewriting the rules. She sent the location. Stay there. Don't leave. Someone's coming to help. Her breath caught. Someone's coming? What did that mean? She looked around the empty parking lot, suddenly aware of every shadow, every sound. Had she just made a terrible mistake? Before she could respond, another message. I mean it. You're going to be okay. Just stay put. Sarah sat in the silence, her son breathing softly behind her, her heart hammering in her chest. She didn't know who was on the other end of that phone. She had no idea her life was about to change forever if you're watching this. Subscribe now because what happens next will restore your faith in humanity. Asterisk, asterisk. 20 minutes passed like hours. Sarah kept her eyes on the road leading into the parking lot, her phone clutched in her hand. The battery was at 2%. Every headlight that appeared made her heart jump. Was this help? Or had she just given her location to someone dangerous? Tommy stirred in the back seat. Mom. His voice was small, sleepy. Shh, baby. Go back to sleep. Everything's fine. But everything wasn't fine. She'd just trusted a complete stranger with the most vulnerable moment of her life. What kind of mother does that? Then she saw them. 2 headlights turning into the lot. A black SUV, expensive looking, moving slowly toward her car. It stopped 15 feet away. The engine went quiet. Sarah's hand moved to the door lock. Her pulse thundered in her ears. The driver's door opened. A man stepped out. Tall, maybe 50, wearing a suit jacket despite the late hour. He didn't approach. Instead, he raised his hand in a small wave, staying by his vehicle. "Sarah," he called out, his voice calm, measured. She cracked her window an inch. "How do you know my name? You texted me. Remember?" Her mind raced. She hadn't given her name in those messages, had she? "I saw it on your account profile," he explained, as if reading her thoughts. "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here because you asked for help." Sarah studied him through the windshield. He looked normal, tired even. Not like someone with bad intentions. But how could she know? "I have my son with me," she said, her voice stronger than she felt. "I know. That's why I'm keeping my distance." He pulled something from his pocket. Sarah tensed. But it was just his phone. "I'm going to call a tow truck. They'll be here in 30 minutes. They're going to take your car to a repair shop I work with. Everything's already paid for." "Wait, what?" "No, I can't." "You can," he interrupted gently. "And you will." "What hotel is closest to here?" I don't need a hotel." He was quiet for a moment. Understanding crossed his face. "How long have you been sleeping in the car?" Shame burned in Sarah's chest. She couldn't answer. "There's a Hampton in 2 miles from here," he continued. "I've booked you a room for the week. Confirmation number is coming to your phone right now." Sarah's phone buzzed. She looked down, stunned. An email? A real reservation? 7 nights prepaid. "Why are you doing this?" Her voice cracked. The man leaned against his SUV, his expression softening. 15 years ago, I was sleeping in my car too. I had a business idea and $53 to my name. Someone helped me when I had nothing. Gave me a chance when no one else would. Now, I get to do the same. But you don't even know me. I know enough. I know you're fighting for your son. I know you're trying. That's all I need to know." Tears spilled down Sarah's cheeks. "I'll pay you back. I swear this isn't a loan. This is a gift. But there is one condition." As Sarah's guard went back up. There it was. The catch. When you're back on your feet, when things are stable again, you help someone else. That's all I ask. The tow truck's lights appeared in the distance. The man checked his watch. "The hotel has breakfast included. There's a 24-hour diner across the street. My assistant will call you tomorrow morning. She'll help you figure out the next steps, job connections, childcare resources, whatever you need." "I don't understand." "Who are you?" He smiled, a sad kind of smile. "Just someone who remembers what it feels like to be invisible. To send up a prayer and wonder if anyone's listening." The tow truck pulled into the lot. The man nodded toward it. "They're going to take good care of your car. I'll follow you to the hotel. Make sure you and Tommy get checked in safely." "How do you know his name?" "You mentioned him. In your texts." Sarah's mind was spinning. This couldn't be real. Things like this didn't happen. Not to people like her, but the tow truck driver was approaching. The hotel reservation was on her phone. And this stranger, this man in a suit at midnight, was standing in a parking lot because she'd sent a wrong number text to exactly the right person. "Thank you," she whispered. He nodded once. "Get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be better." As the tow truck driver hooked up her car, as Sarah woke Tommy and carried him toward the stranger's SUV for a ride to the hotel, she didn't know the man's name. She didn't. No. He was worth $800 million. And she had no idea that this was only the beginning. Asterisk, asterisk, Sarah woke too. Sunlight streaming through clean curtains. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then it hit her. A real bed. Sheets that smelled like detergent. Tommy sprawled beside her, actually smiling in his sleep. She touched the pillow beneath her head just to make sure it was real. The clock read. 9:15 a.m. She bolted upright. She never slept past 6. Years of survival mode had trained her body to wake at dawn, but exhaustion had finally won. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from an unknown number. "Good morning, Sarah. This is Claire, Mr. Harrison's assistant. May I call you in the next hour?" Mr. Harrison. So that was his name. Sarah typed back with shaking hands. "Yes, thank you." She got Tommy dressed, her mind still reeling. Last night felt like a dream, but the hotel room was real. The breakfast buffet downstairs was real. And when Tommy saw the waffle maker, his eyes lit up in a way she hadn't seen in months. "Mom, can I make 2? "You can make 3 if you want, baby." Her phone rang as Tommy drowned his waffles in syrup. The caller ID said, "Claire Montgomery. Hello." "Sarah, good morning. I hope you and Tommy slept well." The woman's voice was warm, professional. "I wanted to touch base about a few things. Do you have a moment?" "Yes, of course." "Wonderful. First, your car. The mechanic looked at it this morning. It needs a new transmission and some electrical work. It'll be ready by Friday. All taken care of." A transmission that would have cost thousands. Money she'd never have. "Second, Mr. Harrison mentioned you're looking for work. Can you tell me about your background?" Sarah swallowed. "I worked in hotel management for 7 years. Front desk, then assistant manager. I was good at it. But my last job, I had to miss shifts when Tommy got sick. They let me go. I understand. What if I told you I might have something?" "Something?" Mr. Harrison owns several businesses. One is a boutique hotel chain. The flagship property here in the city is looking for an operations manager. Full benefits, competitive salary, and they have on-site childcare. Sarah nearly dropped the phone. I don't have a degree. Just experience. Experience matters more. Would you be interested in an interview?" "Yes. Absolutely yes." "Perfect. How's tomorrow at 10? "Tomorrow?" She had nothing to wear. Nothing professional. She looked down at Tommy, syrup on his chin, and felt panic rising. "Sarah." Claire's voice gentled. "There's a clothing boutique 2 blocks from your hotel. I've arranged a credit for you there. Get yourself an interview outfit. Get Tommy some new clothes too. Whatever you need. Can't keep accepting, you can. And before you argue, Mr. Harrison asked me to tell you something. He said, this isn't charity. This is investment. I'm betting on you. Don't prove me wrong." The words hit Sarah like a wave. An investment. In her, someone believed she was worth betting on. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay." The interview was in a glass office overlooking the city. The hotel was beautiful, modern, the kind of place Sarah used to dream of managing. The woman interviewing her, Patricia, was firm but kind. "Claire sent over your resume. Impressive track record. Tell me why you left your last position." Sarah had rehearsed a safe answer. A vague answer? But looking at Patricia, something made her choose honesty instead. "I got fired because I chose my son over my job. He was in the hospital with pneumonia, and I missed 3 shifts. They said I was unreliable." Patricia didn't flinch. "And if your son got sick while working here, I'd use the on-site childcare you provide. I'd communicate early. I'd have a backup plan. But I won't lie. Son comes first. Always." Patricia smiled. "Good. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Parents who prioritize their children make the best managers. They understand responsibility." Sarah's heart pounded. Was this really happening? "The job is yours if you want it. You start Monday." Couldn't breathe. She just nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she finally managed. "You have no idea what this means." Patricia slid a folder across the desk. Benefits package. Salary details. And Sarah? "Mr. Harrison doesn't invest in people lightly. He sees something in you. Make sure you see it too." That evening, Sarah called the number Claire had given her. Mr. Harrison answered on the second ring. "Sarah, how'd it go?" "I got the job." Her voice shook. "I start Monday." "I don't know how to thank you. You've given me my life back. You did that yourself." I just opened a door. You walked through it. Why me? Out of everyone you could help, why did you do all this for a stranger? He was quiet for a moment. Because 15 years ago, I sent a desperate email to the wrong address, and the person who received it gave me $50,000 to start my company. No contract. No guarantee. Just belief. Did you ever pay them back? I tried. They wouldn't take it. Said the same thing I'm telling you now. Pass it forward. Sarah looked at Tommy asleep on the hotel bed, finally peaceful. Finally safe. I will. I promise. I know you will. As Sarah hung up, she didn't know that Mr. Harrison had done more than just get her a job. She didn't know he'd cleared her debt, paid 6 months of rent in advance on an apartment, or set up a college fund for Tommy. She was about to find out, 3 months later. Sarah stood in front of her new apartment building, keys in hand. It wasn't much. A 2-bedroom on the 3rd floor, no elevator. But it had a kitchen with a window. A bedroom for Tommy with space for a real bed. And it was theirs Claire had called 2 weeks earlier. Mr. Harrison wanted me to check in. How's the job going? Amazing. Patricia says I'm exceeding expectations. Tommy loves the childcare. I feel like I'm myself again. It's wonderful. There's something else. Mr. Harrison found an apartment in your budget. Would you like the address? In her budget, Sarah had laughed. Her budget was practically nothing after bills and food. But she'd gone to see it anyway. The landlord, an older man named Frank, had smiled when she walked in. You must be Sarah. Rent $700 a month. First month free. Mr. Harrison's already covered the deposit in the first 6 months. Sarah had frozen in the doorway. He what? Said you needed a stable place. Said you'd earned it. Now, moving boxes were stacked in the living room. Tommy ran from room to room, his laughter echoing off the walls. Sarah watched him, her heart so full it hurt. Her phone buzzed. A message from Mr. Harrison. They'd been texting occasionally, brief check-ins. He never asked for anything. Just listened. Heard you got the keys. Congratulations. You've worked hard for this. She typed it back. I need to see you. In person, please? Is everything okay? Yes. I need to say thank you. Really, thank you. An hour later, they met at a coffee shop near the hotel where she worked. Mr. Harrison looked the same as that first night, tired. Kind, wearing a suit despite it being Saturday. Sarah slid an envelope across the table. Inside was a check. Every dollar she'd saved in 3 months. It wasn't much, but it was something. I can't take this, he said. Pushing it back. You have to, please. I know it's not enough to cover everything you've done. But Sarah, stop. His voice was gentle but firm. This was never about paying me back. Then what was it about? He leaned back, his eyes distant. When I got that $50,000 15 years ago, I was 28. I had a tech idea, no investors, and a maxed out credit card. I sent a pitch email to a venture capitalist. Got the address wrong? It went to a retired teacher named Dorothy Chen instead. Sarah listened, captivated. Dorothy wrote back, said she didn't understand technology, but she understood dreamers. She sent me a check with one note. Don't waste it. I built my company with that money. Sold it 5 years later for $40 million. Did you find her? Dorothy. His expression fell. I tried. By the time I had the money to pay her back, she'd passed away. Lung cancer. I never got to thank her. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry. Me too. But her daughter told me something that changed everything. She said her mom kept my emails. Read them to her family. She was so proud that her $50,000 had mattered, that she'd believed in someone when no one else did. He looked directly at Sarah now. I can't pay Dorothy back, but I can honor what she taught me. That one moment of kindness can change the trajectory of someone's entire life. Sarah wiped her eyes. You've changed mine. You know that, right? And you'll change someone else's. That's how it works. I sat in silence for a moment, the weight of gratitude and purpose hanging between them. There's one more thing, Mr. Harrison said, sliding a folder across the table. And before you argue, just listen. Sarah opened it. Inside was a bank statement, an education savings account. In Tommy's name, with $25,000 already deposited. What is this? Tommy's college fund? I add to it every quarter. By the time he's 18, it'll cover 4 years at any state university. Full tuition, room, board. Sarah couldn't breathe. I can't. This is too much. It's not. Because I remember being 6 years old, sleeping in a car with my mom. I remember her crying when she thought I was asleep. I remember wondering if we'd be okay. Sarah's hand flew to her mouth. You. My mom worked 3 jobs to keep us fed. She never gave up. Just like you. His voice cracked. She died when I was 19. Never got to see me succeed. Never got to stop worrying. Tears streamed down Sarah's face. I don't know what to say. Say you'll let Tommy have the opportunities you're fighting to give him. Say you'll stop carrying the weight alone. Sarah reached across the table, taking his hand. Thank you. For seeing me. For believing in me, you made it easy. As they parted ways, Mr. Harrison turned back. One more thing, Sarah. I'm starting a foundation. It helps single parents get back on their feet. Job training, housing assistance, childcare. I want you to help run it. Sarah stared. Me. You've lived it. You know what's needed? And you're proof the system works when someone gives people a real chance. I'm just an operations manager. No, you're a survivor. A fighter. And now, you're going to help others survive and fight too. Sarah walked back to her apartment in a daze. Tommy was with a neighbor, playing. She stood in her empty living room, looking at the boxes, waiting to be unpacked. 6 months ago, she was texting a wrong number from a broken-down car. Now she had a job, a home, a future, and soon, she'd help others find theirs too. But what Sarah didn't know was that her story was about to go viral, that within a year, thousands of people would reach out wanting to help or be helped, and that her wrong number text would become a movement. Asterisk. 1 year later, Sarah stood on a stage in front of 300 people. The foundation's first annual gala. Donors, volunteers, families they'd helped. The ballroom glittered with lights and hope. Sarah's hands trembled as she gripped the microphone. A year ago she began, her voice shaking. I was living in my car with my 6-year-old son. The room went silent. I'd lost everything. My job, my apartment, my dignity. I was sending out resumes during the day and sleeping in parking lots at night. I was invisible. Just another statistic. She paused, finding Mr. Harrison in the crowd. He nodded, encouraging. Then I made a mistake. I sent a desperate text to the wrong number. And that mistake became a miracle, Sarah told the story. The parking lot. The stranger who showed up, the help that kept coming, even when she'd done nothing to deserve it. By the time she finished, half the room was in tears. The Second Chance Foundation has helped 47 families in the last year, she continued, her voice stronger now. 47 parents who were where I was, scared, alone, fighting for their children. We've placed 32 people in jobs, housed 19 families, and we're just getting started. The applause was deafening. After her speech, people swarmed her. A woman with tears streaming down her face grabbed Sarah's hands. I saw your story online. I've been living in my car for 3 weeks. I didn't know where to turn. Can you help me? Sarah pulled out a card, Claire's direct number written on it. Call this number tomorrow morning. We'll help you. I promise. More people came forward, some wanting to help, some needing it. Sarah stayed for hours, listening to every story, taking every name. Mr. Harrison found her near midnight, exhausted but glowing. You were incredible tonight, he said. I was terrified. Didn't show. He smiled. Dorothy would have been proud. I think about her sometimes. About how one decision to help a stranger created all of this. That's the power of kindness. It multiplies. Sarah looked around the emptying ballroom. I got an email last week. From a journalist. She wants to write about the foundation. Says our story could inspire others to start similar programs in their cities. What did you tell her? That I'd think about it. I'm not sure I want the attention. Mr. Harrison studied her. What are you afraid of? Sarah was quiet for a long moment. That people will think I didn't earn this. That I just got lucky. That I'm not actually worth all the help you gave me. Sarah, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. You were prepared. You were trying. You just needed an opportunity. He placed a hand on her shoulder, and you've taken that opportunity and built something that's helping dozens of families. That's not luck. That's character. Tears pricked her eyes. What if I fail? What if the foundation doesn't last? Then you'll have helped 47 families that would have had nothing. That's not failure. That's impact. 3 months later, the article came out. It went viral within hours. The headline read, "A wrong numbered text and a billionaire's response. How one act of kindness sparked a movement." Sarah's phone exploded. Emails, messages, calls, news outlets wanting interviews. People from across the country asking how to start their own second chance programs. Donations flooded in $10, $50, $1,000. One anonymous donor sent $500,000. Tommy, now 7. Didn't fully understand why strangers recognized his mom at the grocery store. But he knew things were different. Better. "Mom, why do people keep saying thank you to you?" He asked one night. Sarah knelt down to his level. "Because we help people who are going through hard times. Like we went through." When we went camping in the car, her heart clenched. He still thought it had been camping. "Yeah, baby. Like that? Are we going to camp again?" "No, sweetheart. Never again." "Good. I like our apartment better." Sarah held him close, breathing in the scent of his shampoo. Clean, safe, home. But the attention brought challenges too. Critics emerged. Online comments questioning her story, people claiming she was exploiting Mr. Harrison's generosity, accusations that the foundation was a scam. Sarah sat in Mr. Harrison's office, the weight of it crushing her. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe I should step back. Why? People are saying terrible things. That I'm a fraud. That I'm using my sob story for profit. Are you? No. I just want to help people like me and ignore the noise. People criticize because your success makes them uncomfortable. It challenges their worldview that good things only happen to those who deserve them. But what if they're right? What if I don't deserve this? Mr. Harrison leaned forward. Sarah, I've been wealthy for 15 years. I've met hundreds of people who think they deserve everything just because they exist. You've spent a year proving you deserve nothing and earning everything anyway. That's the difference. A knock on the door interrupted them. Claire poked her head in. Sarah, there's someone here to see you. Says it's urgent. A young woman stood in the waiting area, maybe 25, with a baby on her hip and exhaustion in her eyes. Are you Sarah? She asked, her voice trembling. I am. I saw your interview online. I'm living in my car with my daughter. I lost my job when I couldn't afford childcare. I've been applying everywhere, but... Her voice broke. I sent a text to your foundation number. No one's responded yet. I know you're probably busy, but I didn't know where else to go. Sarah felt time fold in on itself. She was looking at herself 18 months ago, desperate, terrified, invisible. She took the woman's hand. What's your name? Jessica. Jessica, you came to the right place. We're going to help you. Let me make some calls, as Sarah led Jessica to her office. As she started making the same calls that had once been made for her, she realized something profound. This was why the wrong number had been right all along. But the biggest surprise was still coming. 2 years after that first text, Sarah received a letter, not an email. A real letter in the mail with a handwritten address. The return label said Chen Family Trust. Sarah's hands shook as she opened it. Inside was a photo of an elderly Asian woman, smiling at the camera. Behind her was a young man in a suit, Mr. Harrison, 15 years younger. On the back, in faded ink, Dorothy and Michael. May 2010, the letter began. Dear Sarah, you don't know me. My name is Linda Chen. Dorothy Chen was my mother. Sarah sat down, her heart pounding. "I've been following your foundation's work. When I saw Michael Harrison's name attached to it, I knew I had to reach out. My mother passed away believing the best thing she ever did was help a stranger with a dream. She never knew what became of that investment. She just trusted it mattered." Tears blurred Sarah's vision. "Watching what you and Michael have built, I see my mother's legacy living on. She always said kindness was the only thing worth investing in. You're proof she was right. I'd like to meet you, if you're willing. I think my mother would have loved your story." 2 weeks later, Sarah sat across from Linda in a quiet cafe. Linda was in her 60s, with her mother's kind eyes. "Michael told me about you," Linda said. "About the wrong number. The parking lot, everything," she smiled. "Mom would have called it divine intervention." "I never got to thank her," Sarah said. "For what she did for Mr. Harrison? Without her, none of this exists. She wouldn't want thanks. She'd want exactly what you're doing." Passing it forward, Linda reached into her bag and pulled out a journal, worn and filled with handwriting. This was Mom's. She kept it the last year of her life. "I want to read you something." She flipped to a marked page. "May 15th, 2010, I sent money to a young man with a dream today. Richard thinks I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But something told me this mattered. I may never know if it does. But I choose to believe in people. What else is money for if not to believe?" Sarah wiped her eyes. "And then this one, 3 months before she died. I got an email today from Michael Harrison. His company is succeeding. He wants to pay me back. I told him no. The payment is in what he does next, in who he becomes. I hope he remembers that kindness isn't debt. It's legacy." Linda closed the journal. She never wanted repayment. She wanted impact. You and Michael have given her that. I wish I could have met her. You're living her dream. That's better. When Sarah told Mr. Harrison about the meeting, he went quiet for a long time. "Never knew she wrote about me," he finally said, his voice thick. "I never knew she cared that much." And because she cared, hundreds of families now have a chance. The foundation continued to grow. 3 years in, they'd helped over 200 families. 5 years in, over 800. They expanded to 12 cities, then 25. Other organizations copied the model. Politicians cited them in speeches about poverty solutions. Tommy grew up watching his mother transform lives. On his 12th birthday, he asked her about that night in the parking lot. "You remember that?" Sarah asked, surprised. "I remember being scared. And then I remember you telling me everything would be okay. I didn't know if it would be. Because someone helped us. Yes, I want to do that someday. Help people like that stranger helped us." Sarah pulled him close. "You will, baby. You will." On the foundation's 10th anniversary, they held a ceremony. 5,000 families helped. Countless lives changed. Mr. Harrison stood at the podium, now in his 60s, still humble. 10 years ago, Sarah sent me a text meant for someone else. She was desperate, terrified, at the end of her options. And in that moment, I had a choice. Ignore it, delete it, move on with my life. He paused, looking at Sarah in the front row. But I remembered Dorothy. I remembered being desperate myself. I remembered that someone took a chance on me when they had no reason to. So I took a chance on Sarah. Best decision I ever made. The crowd erupted in applause. But here's the truth, he continued. I didn't save Sarah. She saved herself. I just opened a door. She walked through it, then turned around and held it open for everyone behind her. That's the real story. After the ceremony, a young woman approached Sarah. She looked familiar, but Sarah couldn't place her. You don't remember me? The woman said. I'm Jessica. You helped me 6 years ago? I was living in my car with my baby. Recognition flooded Sarah. Jessica. How are you? I'm a social worker now. I work with homeless families. Because of what you did for me, I help 10 families a month find housing and resources. That's 60 families a year. For 6 years, Sarah did the math. 360 families. Because she'd helped one person, you see? Jessica said, tears in her eyes. It never stops. The ripple you created keeps going. That night, Sarah sat in her home office, looking at the wall of photos. Families they'd helped. Success stories. Second chances realized. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Hi, I know this is random, but I'm in trouble. I just lost my job and I don't know what to do. I think I texted the wrong person. Sorry." Sarah smiled. She typed back, "You texted exactly the right person. Tell me where you are. We're going to help you." As she grabbed her keys, she thought about that night in the parking lot 10 years ago. How terrified she'd been. How a stranger had shown up and changed everything. Now she was the stranger showing up for someone else. And somewhere, she liked to think Dorothy was smiling. The wrong number had been right all along. It always had been. Because kindness. Real kindness never makes mistakes. It just finds the people who need it most, and then it multiplies forever.